You see, the process of making a law, it is a process. It is not just a walk in the park. There are laws that are made through sponsoring a motion. And there are direct laws that emanate directly from the executive. And when the law passes to first reading, it is gazetted for second reading. And when the law eventually goes to second reading, which is where opportunities are given to members to debate on the merits and the demerits of the proposed bill, it is now put forward for a public hearing.
Yes, we do. Sorry. I'm interrupting. I mean, I'm interjecting because of the time factor.
Yep.
The 87 bills have been passed in the House. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the data I have. Out of over 1,000 bills. I'd like you to speak on the quality of these 87 bills and, you know, how they address the issues, you know. Yes, that...
Okay, let me even zero in on the appropriation bill. That is the main bill, let me say the main bill of the House that is sponsored by the executive. Without appropriation, the executive does virtually nothing. So the quality of the Appropriation Act 2024 that we passed on the 31st of December last year is what has enabled the executive to implement their ideas to Nigerians, to realize the renewed hope agenda. So without the passage of that bill, which is now an act, there is virtually nothing the executive would do. So talking about the quality of the bills that we have passed is enormous. For example, there are motions that we have moved in the House that have swiftly intervened on so many things. For example, civil defense. Before we came on board, there was this disparity between BSc and HND, progress stagnation in the service. But a motion was sponsored in that respect, and the gap was breached. Right now, over 3,000 people have been promoted via the instrumentality of the motion that we have moved in the House. So that is qualitative, if you ask me.
Why does the House of Reps not give the same accelerated, you know, hearing to other bills that you give to bills from, you know, the executive bill?
You see, just like you mentioned, there are over 70-something bills. And to organize a public hearing for each of these bills is capital intensive. Okay. So sometimes the House, in its wisdom, wait for similar bills to be collated so that public hearing could be held in 2, 3, 4, 5 bills instead of just doing public hearing in just one bill.
Okay, so that's why we see the you know, long processes and the delays.
Not really delays. I wouldn't call it a delay. Because the truth of the matter, like I said, the process of making a bill is not a walk in the park. For us to make a bill that will stand the test of time, that will sift through 10 years, 20 years of Nigeria's existence after the bill has been made, it should be processed through. A lot of thinking goes into it. A lot of calculations goes into it.
You know, Victor, I'm asking, I mean, I'm not a legislator, so I don't know these processes, so I need to be, you know, educated. Because when the executive bill on the national anthem came, the House of Reps speedily passed it.
Yeah, let me make a little comment on that.
Yes, but we have the reforms on local government, child rights acts, gender bills. You know, it's still
let me make a little comment on that, if you may. You see, like I said some times ago, if you see a couple walking on the street, holding hands, having a compatibility, does not mean that in the bedroom, in the parlor, in the kitchen, that there are no conflicts. But they are matured enough to bury their differences in the bedroom, in the parlor, and show compatibility in the public. Like when you guys talked about being a rubber-stamped assembly, it is because we are matured enough to bury our differences and project our strength, which is compatibility between the executive and the legislature. Right. So when the national anthem bill came, there were a lot of talking points behind the cameras that eventually projected the agreement between the executive and the legislature for us to have a smooth running. Do not forget, Nigerians cannot be taken for a ride. We cannot be seen on national television, on public media, arguing, disagreeing with the executive for Nigerians to see that we are working. No, that is not the tempo.
Obviously,
All right.
that's not what is meant.
No, it is.
Well, thank you.